Go.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody. This is Olga again, the founder of Mind Honey Collective. And today we are going to interview yet another person from our collective, and we will be interviewing Beacon.
Hi, all.
Beacon also known as Tim, also known as my husband. Thank you for joining.
Lucky guy.
Thank you for joining. In our series, when we interview people from the collective, what we try to do is we want to hear stories of the people from the collective. We want to hear about their mindfulness journeys and what inspires them to live lives, um, you know, uh, focusing on mindfulness and meditation. And so I want to talk about that today. And I also would like to talk about just, tell us, how does it feel like to be married to me, the founder of Mind Honey Collective?
Okay. Yeah, definitely can. I'll give you all my thoughts for sure.
Perfect. So let's just start with that. Tell the people listening, when you first remember me talking about Mind Honey Collective and when you first heard about this idea, what were your thoughts and your initial reaction? Because I know you are now very involved and you have become one of the guides. And so tell us the reason why.
Yeah, so when I first heard about Mind Honey, honestly, it was just kind of like this one of these stoner ideas. Like, oh my God, let's, combine guided meditation and then we can get some DJs. And, at the time, the first time I heard it, I was kind of like, okay, I mean, it sounds great in theory, but like all these other kind of stoner ideas, like is it gonna happen, And it was kind of interesting. It's Mind Honey is almost like a testament to one of those things where it's like if you talk about it enough and you get that energy out there, and pretty soon you either start going down the path of you sound like just a talker, and I think you realize that, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And so once it started happening, it's really been pretty unbelievable. It's really cool.
That's great. And what made you want to be part of the collective? Because for people listening, your background is aerospace engineering, and I always feel like I've been the one who's inspired you to look into mindfulness and meditation. And so, shall I go ahead and just take credit for you being more mindful in your life?
Absolutely. I mean, you deserve all the credit. Well, I don't know. I've had a pretty interesting, kind of journey, I guess. I mean, I'm really my current career now, like you said, is in engineering and it's super like dry. And I recently started this kind of career change, life path change, and I'm trying to be a therapist now for a lot of different reasons. I could probably talk about that for an hour, but I'll give you the short version. I mean, I'm just really interested in like just being more mindful. And it's really like because of the lack of mindfulness I've had my entire life. Once I started kind of to pay attention to this world, I kind of I don't know, I just became more and more interested, and kind of this therapy path I'm going down now is making me realize how important mindfulness is to, your mental health. And when you first mentioned me being a guide, I mean, at the beginning, I didn't know what to think. And I was like, gosh, I'm just going to dive in and kind of just give it a shot or whatever. But, now I realize it's really kind of instrumental in my therapy journey, my journey to be a therapist. I should be able to articulate these, thoughts I have. And, it's been a really great creative outlet so far.
That's great. So tell us more about your style. So we know that your nickname in the collective is Beacon. So I guess tell us why your nickname is Beacon and then tell us about your style.
Yeah, so the Beacon nickname came from our friend Justin. I don't know, he kind of just said it one night and it just, of course, like all nicknames, it kind of started as a joke, and I was like, Beacon the therapist. But then, I kind of you start hearing it more, and you kind of, realize, yeah, Beacon is kind of a cool, moniker because it really represents what a therapist is all about, right? Like, my image of a therapist for my entire life is, I grew up in the Midwest. It's been kind of a stigma to go see a therapist. And I always thought, I don't need this guy telling me, what to do. I I'm going to figure out my own path. And now that I'm like kind of on this path to become a therapist, I'm realizing that therapy is not about like a therapist sitting there and, giving you advice about your life. It's more about, you know, therapy is kind of about removing the blocks in your own life where, you can find that path easier. And the way Beacon plays into it is like, a beacon is like, I kind of think of a lighthouse, a navigational beacon. And people kind of maybe think initially, oh, a beacon is like something you like kind of go towards. But a beacon is not that at all. A beacon is, when you think about it, it's just notifies, it helps people figure out where they are. Like if you're in a ship on a dark coast and you're going towards a lighthouse, you're going to run into land, right? The whole point of a beacon is, and they work in concert with each other. A lot of beacons, a lot of lighthouses, they help you figure out where you are in the ocean and they figure out where your path or how, to go down your path or what path to take.
And it is very the your style of your meditations is very much like that, right? It's very different from, for example, my style. And so tell us more about your style and the inspiration behind you creating that particular style of meditation.
Yeah, sure. So like you are kind of more of like a like when I listen to your meditations, I kind of think, okay, this is really like comforting and like it's helping me be present and it really helps you like kind of get into the moment and presence. And my style is more like it's meant to like make you think about your life in kind of a different way. Like I know my one of my first ones that I was like kind of proud about, and it's a little controversial and it's really short, but it's about an existential truth about being, isolated. There's four existential truths, and isolation is one of them. We all have to deal with isolation. And my, I guess, meditation style is more in the sense of like a meditation on a certain topic, like that
Mhm.
isolation one, that friends that love you. It's more to make you think about your life maybe in a different way. And it's we put a little 18 plus warning label on there because you could listen to that and you could think about your life in maybe a darker way. But
Mhm.
my style is just to kind of stir the pot a little bit, and my
Yes.
mom and brothers would tell you that's how I am anyway. So
And when I started Mind Honey, that was one of the very first things and ideas and must-haves, if you will, that I had in my mind is I wanted for both guides and musicians to be very authentic. And I know you and I had a few conversations about your style and how, I had to really be open to this very different style of meditation, and you had to remind me, hey, Olga, you were very specific, and you are very specific with all of your other guides about them being authentic. And so this is exactly what I want to bring to the collective. And this is my style, and this is authentic to me. And so I, you know, uh, definitely appreciate that you bring something different to our meditations. And I am very excited to see how it develops and evolves and maybe changes with time, because I know that you have many, many ideas. And I know that you care very much about people gaining a lot of value from the questions that you ask in your meditations, and the little challenges that you put people through with those questions, right? So I know you care, and so I'm excited to see what you come up with next, and I really am excited and looking forward to seeing how your style evolves with time.
Yeah, I appreciate you kind of supporting me and breaking the mold a little bit. I know that was a little bit tense at first when I put one of those out there, but I think it was good for both of us, and yeah, it felt authentic to me, and I definitely look forward to, the next few ones I want to do on the other three existential truths, which are,
I
of
love it.
course, death, freedom, and meaningless, or I guess the meaning of life, really, how everyone needs to make their own meaning. So,
I love it. That's great. It brings a different flavor to the collective, that's for sure. So tell us more about your personal mindfulness uh, process, habits, maybe some tricks and tips that you've learned for yourself for the past few years practicing mindfulness. Tell us about your favorite mindfulness techniques.
yeah, so like I said, mindfulness, I'm 39 now, and the first probably 30 years of my life, I guess that's the case. Yeah, I've really, like I said before, I've really kind of been aversion to that. It's been very kind of a hippie style of living, or it was. That's how it seemed to me, and I just didn't have time for it, and I just honestly I thought it was a waste of time. I had very industrial type of mindset. But what I started to realize is that, that was kind of a drag on myself. So like on my own mental health. Like I would go into an office and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna, drink my coffee, and I prided myself on working 10, 12-hour days. And that's where I really got my self-worth from. Like, oh, here I am. Like the society has given me a paycheck, and I'm grinding away, and I'm doing the right thing. And for a long time, I mean, honestly, the first probably 10 years of my career, I would just come home exhausted. Like, I mean, I would need naps after work, and then I didn't have any time for me. Like, I didn't even really
Mhm.
I couldn't really discover like what I wanted to do with my life or whatever, because I was just so dedicated to like getting that dollar and, building these, big structures that we were working on at my career. And I just, after a while of that, a lot, like after some time, you kind of realize like, man, I, I guess the first time I started to meditate, I guess I'll be honest, it was like after a mushroom trip. And you just kind of start to realize that like, to disconnect from that kind of mindset, it's really, I don't know, it's really freeing in a way. And it just kind of creates more space for you, And for me, it's kind of like an introspective type thing for me, because I guess like a good metaphor would be like, I kind of let myself be squeezed by like these societal expectations. And, and I thought that was fine, but meditation and mindfulness kind of helps me push those walls away and give myself like a little bit more room to kind of think and be free and, just be myself. It's just for me. I mean, when you're in meditation, you're really in the moment. It's really personal and private, and it's my own time. I love it.
That's great. Yes, I'm very happy that you are embracing mindfulness and meditation practices, because I agree, it is a very valuable time and it does help us create that space. That's exactly how I would describe it. It creates space for you, for your needs, for the questions that you're trying to find answers for, your creativity, right? To find and create space for a little bit more self-love, self-connection, self-compassion, all those great things that sometimes we forget how important they are, right? And so that is exactly part of our mission at Mind Honey, to help people understand the value of even very short daily pauses, right? We don't have it's an incredible, just 3 minutes a day life changing, right? So it's an incredible value to just remember to pause, even for just a few moments, to again find and create that space for yourself, for your
Yeah.
mental well-being, for your mental health, for your needs. And that is exactly it. You nailed it. That's literally what Mind Honey is all about, is to help and teach people and empower them to do just that, to find drops of mindfulness every day and create a practice that will help them live better lives, more joyful lives, lives with more confidence, lives with more self love, and with more connection with themselves and others. So I'm just so glad that you're part of the mission. I really appreciate the fact that you are one of my guides and that you are bringing this beautiful style to our meditations. And like I said before, I can wait to see, and hear all your new creations. And so my last question will be, uh, I know we've discussed this all the time, but where do you see Mind Honey going? Where do you see us in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years?
Oh gosh, the future. Good question. I did want to say one thing. You were talking about creating space, and this thought popped in my head. These meditations and meditations, and it's really about setting boundaries with the world. And I think that's something that, people don't do enough, and they don't know how to express those boundaries. And whenever you take those 3 minutes a day, you're really putting up a boundary around yourself and a boundary between you and the world. And you can really kind of exist in that boundary. But so that was great.
That's
Creating space and boundaries. It's a really great skill that they didn't teach us in school, I think. But
uh,
yeah, for the next 10 years, I mean, the great thing about Mind Honey, I think, is that it's like a collective, and it's which to me, what I see that is like a collective that kind of has a mind of its own, right? You know what I mean? Like it's almost like we are creating space for people, to get in here and be creative. I know you're always recruiting people. You tell everybody about Mind Honey, and anybody that knows how to do music or create music, or, anybody that just has like a good mindfulness practice they want to share with the world, come into Mind Honey and get in there, do the
join,
meditation. I did
yes,
it
join the
once. It was
movement.
crazy. What's that?
Join the movement.
Join the movement. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in 5 years, I think it'd be so cool I almost see it as a kind of a mindful social network, get all this crap out of there that's, the surveillance capitalism that you have in Facebook and all this nasty stuff that they're controlling what you see. And it's more of like almost like a social network where people just they connect and they just things get popular and go viral naturally, and I think that'd be a really awesome thing. It'd be a great creative outlet for the masses, and yeah, just think that'd be a cool thing.
I love it. Yes, thank you. And I agree. For me, the vision that I have is exactly that. Bring as many people as possible who are passionate about sharing their stories and who are passionate to help others with their mental well-being, their mental health. And I always tell my guides the only condition, if you will, when you create meditations is they have to be under 5 minutes, right? Because our brand, our meditations, they're short, 3 to 5 minutes, and that's it. The theme, the style, the questions that they want to ask, and everything within the meditation is completely up to them. And I think when people go through our website and they listen to different meditations, they can see who are they co-created by, and they can see and hear different voices and styles that different people from collective bring to our collective. And I think that's just so beautiful, right? As long as they're under 5 minutes, that's all that is required. And of course, when they record their meditations. We share them with our incredible music producers and musicians, and they get inspired by those messages, and then they create music based on that message and the inspiration that it triggered in their hearts and their souls. And so, when you think about that, all our meditations are just tiny pieces of art, right? That are co-created by incredible people who are not only talented, but also very passionate about this mission. And so I think that makes it so special. And just to be able to share with the world has been such an incredible mission. And I definitely see ourselves traveling the world, bringing people from all over the planet to join the collective, right? And I want all the diversity. I want all the languages. I want all the styles. I want all the faces and just stories, right? I want to collect these incredible stories and tell them through these meditations for the world to hear and, draw benefits from, right? And it's just such an incredible mission. And I just think, sky's the limit. It's really up to us to where we take this. And, part of our values in Mind Honey is inclusivity. So everybody's welcome, right? It's super easy to join. You can either contact us through our website, you can contact me directly, but we always welcome new guides, new musicians. And the fact that Tim/Beacon became from the aerospace industry and now is becoming a therapist, but it hasn't really ever guided a meditation before, but he did find his own style and he's creating beautiful meditations for the collective. So that just proves to us.
You don't mean it. You don't mean it.
It just proves to us that, anybody who has a passion for mental health is absolutely welcome and can become part of our mission. So, well, anyways, thank you so much for your time today. I am super excited that you're part of the movement. You didn't have a choice not to be, but now I can tell that you're definitely in it with your full heart and soul, which is fantastic. And any last words?
You know what? I got a better, more specific, great goal. I would love to see Trent Reznor score some meditations in the future for Mind Honey. That's when we know we have made it. Get some Trent Reznor in here. Come on, Trent.
That would be fantastic.
Let's go.
I agree. That's awesome. Well, you know what?
Ross.
Maybe he will see this interview. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Yes. Join us and, check out our meditations, mindhoneycollective.com. Follow us on Instagram at mindhoneycollective. We add new meditations every single month. We feature a new person from a collective every single month. So follow us on YouTube as well. And there are so many cool, amazing things that are on the horizon that we'll be announcing. We are starting collaborations with different brands. And so sign up for our monthly newsletter. You can read about our collaborations. You can learn all about the collective and everything that we're doing. So, and like I said before, join us. Anyways, thank you so much. And stay mindful.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.